Johnny Talk Sports in with the Week 8 NFL predictions. Last week I went 8-5, which puts me at an overall record of 69-38 on the year so far. I'm looking to do quite better this week, as Week 7 was my worst week that I've had in quite a while. So I'm looking forward to making my picks this week. As always, I begin with Thursday Night Football, and this week it features the Packers and the Cardinals. The Packers will be without Davante Adams in this game, which you would think is trouble for the Packers. Not necessarily. In the two games Davante Adams missed last year, the Packers won both of those games. And Allen Lazard stepped up in the first one, and Robert Tonyan stepped up in the second one. And I think Allen Lazard will step up again for the Packers this week. And I think the Packers, they pull off the upset. I think they hand the Cardinals their first loss of the year. And this, in my opinion, will be a game that will be a shootout, and it's going to be who has the ball last. And we know what happens when Aaron Rodgers has the ball last. He is known for being clutch. He is known for the game-winning drives. And it will happen again this Thursday night. Next, we have the Panthers and the Falcons. The Falcons are on a two-game winning streak, but those two wins are against the Jets and the Dolphins. And despite the Panthers having a lackluster performance last week against the Giants, I still think the Panthers are a way much better team than both the Jets and the Dolphins. And I think the Panthers and the Falcons, they are on at least the same level as far as competition to each other. But that Panthers defense is way better than the Falcons defense. And I think that will be the difference in this game, is that the Falcons, they don't have a defense. But the Panthers, we've seen the Panthers have potential of being one of the best defenses in the league. So I'm going to go with Carolina. And Sam Darnold is going to redeem himself after being benched last week, but Matt Rule said that Sam Darnold is their starting quarterback moving forward still, despite him being benched last week. And Sam Darnold redeems himself from last week. Panthers get the win. Next, we had the Dolphins and the Bills. The Bills are coming off of a bye week. Josh Allen is playing phenomenal so far, an MVP candidate. Last week on Monday Night Football, a couple weeks ago on Monday Night Football, we saw Stephon Diggs get back into that Bills offense. He was getting targeted a bit more often than what we've been used to seeing this season, because Emmanuel Sanders has been stepping up. Cole Beasley has been stepping up in that offense as well. And with them coming off of the bye week and the Monday Night Football game against the Titans, where they could have just went for the tie and took their chances in overtime, I think the Bills, they bounce back easily, and they easily dominate against the Dolphins. I think the Bills will probably put up 45 points on this Miami Dolphins defense. Next, we have the 49ers and the Bears. 49ers looking to bounce back from a loss on Sunday Night Football, where just the conditions were just really terrible for passing. Although despite those conditions, Deebo Samuel still played really well. 7 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown. But the 49ers, they are needing George Kittle back, and possibly next week George Kittle will return to that 49ers offense. And I think the 49ers get the win this week, because the Bears, I haven't seen anything from them that can show that they would actually win this one. I know they beat the Raiders, but just the last couple of games that the Bears have played, especially against the Buccaneers on Sunday, where it was quite probable of them being able to, at least the potential was there to get Allen Robinson going, get Darnell Mooney going. But Matt Nagy's on the hot seat at this point, and I think the more the Bears lose, the hotter Matt Nagy's seat is going to get, and I think it's going to really be hot at the end of this week. I think the 49ers get the win. Next are the Steelers and the Browns. Steelers coming off of a bye, while the Browns, they're coming off of a win on Thursday night last week. So they'll have a couple, you would think, well, the Browns are rested decently, but the Steelers are even more rested at this point because they're coming off of the bye. And I think the Steelers, they pick up this win. Nick Chubb may come back this week. It's unknown about Baker Mayfield at this point. I mean, Case Keenum, he looked decent against the Broncos, but I still think the Steelers, they win this one. I just think the Sunday Night Football win before the bye week, more confidence for the Steelers moving forward. I think Pittsburgh wins that one. Next, we've got the Eagles and the Lions. If the Lions were to get their first win of the season, it would be this game. We have seen the Lions play competitively throughout the year. Despite them being 0-7, the last winless team in the league, they have played competitive football. I mean, last week, the Rams didn't have that game locked up until about the last few minutes of that game. So the Lions, they could have a couple wins this season potentially. I mean, they lost the Ravens on a last-second field goal and the Vikings, so that could have been two potential wins right there. But I think the Lions get their first win of the season this week against the Eagles. An Eagles team that just looks completely abysmal. They don't utilize the running backs at all, and when they were finally utilizing Miles Sanders, he has to get carted off the field with an ankle injury, and he's going to miss some time. Things just going bad to worse for the Eagles. So I'm going with the Lions to get their first win of the year. Next are the Titans and the Colts. And both these teams are looking pretty confident. They are on winning streaks. And this is going to be one of the better games of the week. But the Colts, they had their moments where they had a hard time stopping Elijah Mitchell last week. And they also had a hard time with Deebo Samuel. They allowed him to get 7 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown. But the Colts defense, they still played pretty well last week, but they had their flaws. While the Titans, they are really confident after dismantling the Chiefs last week. I think this game goes in either direction. This was literally a coin flip for me, and I ultimately went with the Titans, which if I had to pick a team to win this one, I was going to pick the Titans. But this was literally a coin flip for me because I think this goes either way. Next, we have the Bengals and the Jets. Pretty self-explanatory here. The Bengals are 5-2, but they will be 6-2 at the end of this week as they will absolutely destroy the Jets. I mean, Zach Wilson is out for 2 to 4 weeks, so Mike White is the current quarterback for the Jets, although they did acquire Joe Flacco. But either way, the Bengals, they are looking like the biggest surprise team of the NFL this season. Joe Burrow, in my opinion, is a dark horse for MVP. Jamar Chase, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Bengals go to 6-2. Next are the Rams and the Texans. Again, pretty self-explanatory here. Although Tyrod Taylor is expected to be activated off the IR this week. So I think the Texans will look quite a bit better this week with Tyrod back in the line, back under center and in that lineup. But the Rams have just been so phenomenal this season with Matthew Stafford under center. And the Rams are the most exciting team to watch, in my opinion, especially with Matthew Stafford under center. It's nice seeing that Matthew Stafford is finally able to show off his full potential, and I think the Rams win big. Next, we have the Patriots and the Chargers. Chargers going off their bye week. And the Patriots, they are coming off of a win against the Jets, even though it is just the Jets. Still, at least some confidence moving forward because they played the Cowboys close in Week 6, leading up to that win against the Jets. But I think the Chargers, with them coming off of their bye week, Chargers will win that one. Although I wouldn't be entirely shocked if the Patriots won that one. Because the Patriots, I think, are still really good defensively. But I still think the Chargers pick up the win here. Next, the Jaguars and the Seahawks. And with Geno Smith under center, this game just doesn't look easy for the Seahawks. I mean, in the 2 games Geno Smith has started, the Seahawks have only lost by 3. So at least there's some potential there as far as playing close. But I wouldn't be surprised if Jacksonville pulled off the upset. I mean, coming off of their bye week and they picked up their first win of the year against the Dolphins. I'm going to pick Seattle to win this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle lost again this week. Next, we have Washington and the Broncos. And I'm going to pick Washington this one. I just don't really know why. This was just another game where I just flipped a coin and I just went with Washington. Really no particular reason. It's just one of those games where I just have to pick someone. These are 2 teams with defenses that we have yet to really kind of see the fullest of their potential. The Broncos haven't beaten a competitive team yet this season. And the Washington football team, I think they're still pretty competitive. We're just waiting for their defense to show their full potential. And I think we have seen some signs of it in recent weeks, but I think this is going to be the week where it finally comes to life. Next, we have the Buccaneers and the Saints. And I am going to do something that I don't think any other person has at least picked this week, but I think the Saints will pull off the upset against the Buccaneers. For some odd reason, the Saints have seemed to have Tom Brady's number. In the 2 regular season games last year, they had the Buccaneers number. I know that the Bucs won in the playoffs, but the Saints defense coming off of a dominant performance against the Seahawks on Monday Night Football. Their only bad play was the DK Metcalf 84-yard touchdown play, even though it was a push-off and it shouldn't have counted. So you take that out of the equation, and the Saints defense pretty much played a perfect game. I know it was just Geno Smith, but we've seen the Saints defense, despite them having some inconsistencies, they're still one of the best defenses in the league. And I think they are going to feed off of that confidence into this week, and they'll pull off the upset against the Bucs. Sunday Night Football, we have the Cowboys and the Vikings, and I'm picking another upset here. I'm picking the Vikings in this one because the Cowboys, when you look at their winning streak, this is kind of reminding me of 2016, where the Cowboys lost their season opener, then they went on a winning streak, and then they lost a game, and then they went on a winning streak again. There's going to be a point where the Cowboys are going to lose. And I think it's going to be this week. I think it's an ideal matchup where they would lose, because the Cowboys, they have yet to beat at least a decent team. I know they beat the Chargers, but let's be honest, that was kind of at the hands of the officials in that game. Other than that, who have the Cowboys really beaten? And they only beat the Chargers by 3, so it's not like they were completely dominant. So I think the Vikings will pull off the upset in this one. And finally, Monday Night Football, the Giants and the Chiefs. The Giants won last week against the Panthers in dominant fashion, while the Chiefs, they really need to get going here. And I think what better way to try to get some confidence back than to take on a team that is really below average, in my opinion. I mean, especially without Saquon Barkley. And who's going to be on offense for the Giants? Like, Sterling Shepard's banged up, and Kadarius Toney's banged up right now. And I believe Kenny Galladay's banged up right now. So who's going to be out there for the Giants? And I don't think the Giants' defense will be able to keep the Giants in this game. Even if Patrick Mahomes really is struggling, I just don't know if the Giants will be able to produce enough offense. And the Chiefs' defense looked lackluster all season long, but I think the Chiefs' defense will have a nice performance this week. I think the Chiefs win big. So those are my Week 8 NFL predictions. For review, I have the Packers, Panthers, Bills, 49ers, Steelers, Lions, Titans, Bengals, Rams, Chargers, Seahawks, Washington, Saints, Vikings, and Chiefs all winning this week. Comment your picks down below. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, have a wonderful day.